Hey guys, this is going to be a guide for a Ryzentosh, or in other words, a Hackintosh that runs on a Ryzen CPU. I have an R5 3600 that we're running right now. As you can see, we're at 3.6 gigahertz motherboard, the B450 Tomahawk, which I do recommend because it's 3.1 USB 3.1 Gen 2 works out of the box in Big Sur, so that's definitely an upside. But this is going to not be for Big Sur. I want you guys to be able to get Catalina up and booting first before we move on to anything else, because the patches for Big Sur are something that I'm not going to give support on, but I am going to show you how to acquire and to put in where it needs to go, okay? So the first thing that we're going to be grabbing is this. It's called macOS Simple KVM. Now you could go through the trouble of finding a patched VMware image for AMD. I do not recommend that. That will take a while if you're on Windows. Then there's the patches for VMware that you have to do, and in the end, most likely it will fail. With macOS Simple KVM, you don't have to do any patching or anything. You have to download the zip. Once it's downloaded, as you can see, I have it right here. I'm just going to move it into the Documents folder because there's discriminating there that totally is bad. You're going to extract like this, all right? And now it's time to use the terminal. Now I know most people don't like using the terminal. Hey, nothing I can do for you there. This is how the guide goes, all right? Actually going to minimize this and bring this over here because there are a few commands that I cannot very much memorize, all right? Now, you're going to do what's called Jumpstart, but I'm going to first show you how to deal with Linux if you do this. I'm using Fedora. You can use Manjaro. You can use Ubuntu. You can use Mint. It doesn't matter which distro that you use. This will function. Do not do this off a USB for just a single reason, because it won't run very well. The boot times will literally take ages, and it's going to suck. But you can do this on an external SSD if you want, or an HDD that you have lying around. So let's go and get this done. So we're going to paste in Jumpstart. So I'm going to show you this. So this little guy right here that I have highlighted is a dot, and this is a slash. This activates the .sh script, okay? Now, sometimes you'll have to give these scripts a run, and this is how you do it, okay? That's how you give the script permission to run. Then go back. Little simple trick. You can do that now. It's going to jumpstart, and it's going to download 10.15 Catalina. All right, so you got to wait till it's done. Probably going to take a lot longer than this for you. It takes no time at all for me because of my internet speed. And once it's finished, we're running low on disk space now. So once we're finished, we're going to do something else. And I'm emptying trash now because go away. I am going to now switch over to my other installation of this because it's on a drive that has a lot more space, and I want you guys to have a good guide. It's the same exact thing as I have there. There are no differences. And where are you? You're right here. Great. So this is actually on my Windows drive. So we're going to open back up in terminal here. Probably already still have it open because you have more room. And every distro that runs GNOME has gedit. And this is what we're going to do to edit it. But first, we need to create our disk. So my suggestion is just 64 gig disk. Now, let's take a look at that command real quick. So it's qme.image space create, little thingy there, F, and then qcow2 space my disk dot. I want to put this because it's easy, right? It will recognize where the disk is, and you can put in the two default commands. So as I said, we were going to edit this. All you have to do is go here, and you're going to add the two lines. I'm going to pause here for a second. You guys can take a look at those two lines. What it's doing is it's adding the disk that we just created, and it's adding another system disk. So an IDH bus equals a SATA 4 drive equals system disk, okay? Now up here, you would want to change this from 2 gigs to 4 gigs. and you'll want to change this from 2 to 4 as well. That way you'll have enough speed to work through everything, okay? And after that, you're going to want to hit save. And guess what comes next? We're going to have to h mod plus x basic, okay, .sh. That will give it permission to run. And next, you just run it. That's it. Now, you wait here at this screen. You don't touch anything. And a few seconds later, what's going to happen is Clover's going to pop up, okay? Now, since this thinks it's Intel, what's happening is there's no patches required. It's just booting up. All the command line arguments are already in place. Now, if you wanted to, you can get deeper into this macOS simple KVM, and you can literally, if you have 2 GPUs, an NVIDIA one and an AMD one, you could inject the AMD GPU into this and basically Hackintosh off of here. It would probably actually perform better. There's also another thing called procmocks. I won't be getting into those as the kernel does not compile when I do a modification. That kind of sucks. So what's happening now is we're booting into system restore. So you need to have internet for this. Make sure that you do. And if you don't, well, you know, Ethernet is probably best because we're about to download the macOS installer through this. Probably going to seem pretty weird to you, but hey, how it goes. All right, so first thing you want to do, as always, if you're new to Hackintoshing, got to show you anyway. Go to disk utility, find your Q disk right here for me, and we're going to erase it. Give it a name. Hack. No. Ryzen. Like that. You don't have to worry about making it APFS. The installer will do that for you. So that, and the mouse is a bit finicky. I'm sorry. And here's a good way to tell if you have internet working. You just click this and browse some sites. But for now, we're just going to continue the installation. And if we done it right, screen will pop up. We'll hit agree. And you're going to do this. Simple as that. All right, so the reason we're making this is because we need to download a Catalina. And there's one here. And for all reasons, you can technically take this installation and put it on your SSD. But I recommend a clean install without using any VMware. So we're using this install here to make a bootable installable USB. One that's going to have OpenCore, all your Kext, the AMD patches, and you should be good to go. It's also going to have a version of macOS Catalina to install. It's pretty straightforward, really, at this point. You got to wait till it's done. So I will be back when it's done, and guys, hopefully it won't take very long for you. I'm using an NVMe drive to install this, so I'll see you when it's done. Okay, guys, so it just restarted on you, which means the first phase of installation is done, and now comes the second phase. So just automatically let it boot up into the macOS install from Ryzentosh, and what's going to happen is it's going to boot back up into the installer for a second go. This is a 2-phase install. First phase is already done. Second phase is about to be underway. And the third phase is technically just booting into the main setup for the first time, which then you will get to your desktop. So don't be scared about anything. You're doing nothing wrong, and everything will go just fine. So let's just wait until we get really quickly here into the second phase, and then we'll move on. Come on, you can do it. So it's mounting our disk right now, which is great. And everything in the log is looking okie dokie. Because I haven't really changed anything, you know, so there's that. Right about here when it says I/O console users and the GIO screen lock state, that's when it's about to hit this screen. So that's a little bit of an indicator to show you that progress is being made. Sometimes it can get stuck on there for quite a while, but it will proceed. This is sort of a never fail option for me when it comes to remaking my Ryzentosh. and I love calling it that. So phase 2 is just going to consist of this screen, and there will be a countdown to how many minutes it's going to take to install. So I'm going to leave you here, and we're going to come back when we hit the setup screen. Well, guys, you have an install. Hopefully that makes you feel good. So instead of booting from here, that's the pre-boot, we're going to boot directly from Boot macOS from Ryzentosh. Just hit that enter button, and it's going to do its thing. Now, the first boot is probably the longest, and your second boot will be super quick, hopefully, if you did this, you know, for real. Like, your actual first install on your main system and not in a VM. It will be really fast because it has to do this whole building cache after update thing. So don't be scared if it takes a little while, all right? This is completely normal. Also, I readjusted my microphone, so hopefully my words will be more clear and I won't get cut off as much because I wanted you guys to understand. So a couple words I said in the previous clip, like install and stuff, were cut off, and I find that very annoying. Now, here we go. So it's got to flush a whole bunch of stuff. It's got to determine some kexts and, you know, virtual I/O returns. So it's a bunch of stuff that it has to do. And again, don't freak out, all right? It's all completely normal. See how much stuff it's flushing? Like, here we go, and we're done. First boot, always the longest. So let's get into this. I believe you will understand this part without me, but I want to make sure that you get it. You do not want to log into your iCloud stuff at all, all right? And remember that the mouse is completely reversed, so up is down and down is up, okay? And we gotta go select our country, because if we don't, we're not gonna get the proper, language. Your dictation is English Canada, Canadian English. Yeah, we're good to go. All right, so next, data and privacy. It's good. You don't need to transfer anything. So this is the part I'm talking about. You don't have to sign into this, all right? You can go up here and hit sign in later. But if you sign in right now, it's easier to get to the Apple Store and to download things. But this is up to you, all right? I am actually going to sign in just to skip a step. And once I'm done, we're going to be back and continue on. Didn't click the proper thing. I did not. Go figure. All right, so we're all signed in and ready to go. And let's just hit agree to all this stuff, because if we don't, we can't get in. You don't have to read any of this. Since this is Catalina, a one-click password will not do. So, yeah. We're going to hit next. As you can see, my iCloud is currently working in this VM, which I find very nice. Probably because I switched Clover to, what my actual old system was. And it can go back and forth between my actual main install and this install. So I'm very grateful for that. So I'm setting up iCloud. Good. This part's going to take a bit depending on how much data you have to sync over. Once again, don't freak out. Completely normal. It did install. If it stalled on you, that little thing would not be moving, okay? And if it ran into an error, it would run into the error within the first 30 seconds. It hasn't done that yet, so you're still good. All right, let's get on with the next part. You may not want this, but it's up to you. I tend to check the weather quite often. You don't have to share any information with Apple if you don't want to. And before we do anything else, just don't save anything to your iCloud. It's simple as that. I mean, you could put your config in there that you made so that you'll have it as a backup. But I like to turn this stuff off because we only have 64 gigs to work with. Remember that. You can change the size of the drive or build a bigger drive to go with this one. And I don't suggest using dark mode when you're trying to work on your configs and stuff. I need you guys to stay awake, and dark mode tends to relax people too much. You sort of need to be able to concentrate to get this done. Not to be mean or anything, but use light mode, please. It will be a whole lot better for you to concentrate. So if you've never used macOS before, it will always ask you to do that, and I'm actually going to hit later here. All right, so what do we do next? Well, it's pretty simple. We got to go into the App Store. Going to hit continue. You can see I'm already signed in the App Store. Great. We're going to search macOS, and there it is. There's our precious Catalina. Now, I know people want Big Sur, but, join one of the two Discords below. You'll find everything you need in the big cert channel. You grab the DMG, you pull down the installer. Well, the installer doesn't work currently, so that's where the main problem is. But what you are going to do is you're going to set up your config to boot Big Sur. That's the important thing. And once you do that, you're going to be ready to boot the installer when it's time and when it comes out. And yeah, sure, I already gave you guys permission to use my location, whatever. Apple, it's coming for me. It's going to destroy me. No, in all seriousness, it's fine. This could take about 7 minutes or so. So I'm going to jump out of this real quick, and we'll be back when it's finished, okay? Okay, so the next part's pretty simple. We have to inject our USB into here. So what you're going to do is we're going to have to shut this down. Just real quick, just go shut it down, all right? And we're not going to reopen anything when we come back in. And the reason we're shutting it down is because you can't inject the USB into a live VM environment with this. Not that I know of. I would love if we could do that, but we can't. So there's that. When it shuts down, it's going to close the bin bash, which we're going to have to edit in a second. But you're going to have to run this command, lsusb. And it's going to show where the drive is that we want to use. So SanDisk Corp is the one I want to use. So bus2 device 2. So that's basically 2.2. And I'm going to open this up. And we're going to gedit basic.sh. It's going to pop up. And you could see this part right here. This is the thing we're going to edit. So it's in port 2. And it's in device 2. Just give me 1 sec. All right, now as I was saying, it was host bus 2 port 2 because that's pretty much what it says right here. See that? Bus 2 port 2, and we're going to hit save. But what we're going to do differently, instead of just starting up basic.sh, is we have to sudo start basic.sh. Now, the reason we need to do that is so we could get the USB injected in. Because if you don't have that done, as you could see, look right there. That's pretty cool. Ignore that. We're just boot here. Without it, the USB does not have permission to inject itself in, and hopefully that was the right USB. Let me check. And couldn't find audio. Good. We don't need no audio for this. Look at that. But Pulse was only able to connect and unable to be refused. All right, so the USB should be here, hopefully. And if you're wondering why I haven't gone full screen, there's a reason for it. It tends to stretch things out, and it looks very uncomfortable. So, here we go. We're going to log in. And once we've done that, we're going to immediately go check for our USB. All right, so in the other folder, it'll take a second to pop up. And here. There it is. That's our USB, all right? You could see it right there. Install macOS beta. All right, now here's the thing about this. All right, I have Clover on this at the moment, so I'm going to entirely wipe this because I'm tired of having this on here. So when you go to erase, you're going to want this as USB. You can put it in caps or non-caps. It's up to you. And we're going to hit OK. And it's been annihilated. So our USB is now formatted and ready. And all we really have to do is go grab the command to create the install USB. So to always find out how to do that, come on now. Create install media Apple. And it's always going to be this first link. This first link is very important. Now, most people are probably wondering, well, why aren't you already dealing with the config? Well, the config can wait. Trust me on that one. Just get this part over with because this part takes the longest. So we're going to exit out of here. And we're going to go up to the search. Type terminal. Paste this into terminal. And at the end, put USB. Enter your password. Actually, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. And you're going to hit Y. You're going to erase the disk. Going to copy to disk. We're in a super speed port, so mind you, this is not going to hopefully take too long. And once the disk is done copying over to the USB, you have an install drive, but we just got to work on OpenCore next. That's the important part. So when we're ready to go work on OpenCore, I will be right back. All right, so it's about to be finished, which is good. And we can do this one of two ways, all right? We could use the new OC Gen X, which I honestly do recommend at this point because it uses the newest 0.59, or we can just do this by hand. And honestly, the point of OC Gen is to not have and struggle with any issues. So we're going to go grab OC Gen X and type in Pavo afterwards because, well, it's not really been secured on the internet yet. You guys should probably go make it popular. His newest version is 2.0, which is great. And Sparkle Framework. Dear God, that is a horrible name for a framework. We're just going to open it up. And hopefully it doesn't need any type of video acceleration to work. One thing I always disliked about macOS is that you need to be a verified developer for this to work. That's always been so annoying. So OC Gen X, here we go. And as you can see, we are cut off thanks to the resolution. But there's nothing down there that's really that important. I kind of wish I could scale up a bit. That'd be great. So we are going with Zen 2. Your text will depend on you and your needs. So the essentials are Lilu and Virtual SMC. For graphics, grab whatever green. For audio, if you don't have USB audio, you're going to be using Apple ALC. All right, that's very important. And I have built-in audio, so I'm not touching that. This is my text for my system, so Realtek RTL8111 might be different for you. I did recently switch to an onboard PCI Express card that I put in. Of course, it's an Intel, and it works out of the box. You just need to put a simple patch to tell the system it's there. So I don't have to worry about all that. For USB, this is for Intel only. Avoid that. Again, if you have one of them PCI Express Wi-Fi cards that are from Real Macs, you're going to be using one of these. I've not done my homework on these yet, and I don't feel like doing it. Now, I've told you don't need this anymore, and I'm going to start to believe it, so I'm going to avoid it. OpenRuntime.efi, you need. HFSplus.efi, you need. And this is where you fill in your SMBIOS. Now, here's the thing. What we can do is we can go grab another script. The script is called SMBIOS Gen by Corpnute. All right. It's a Python script. And this is all you need to do to download it, of course. I think macOS has Python built in. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to try this. And asking us to install the Git. Okay, that's done installing. So let's try this command again. Here we go. And you're going to want to cd into that. So gen SMBIOS. Just like that. We're going to chmod this. As you can see in the background, that's what's asking us to do. Gen SMBIOS. All right. Dot command. And then, of course, we're going to run it. So as you've seen before, we can just go back and run it. First, you're going to want to install the first one going on. Now that that's done, we should be able to generate a serial as well. And you can either select your config plist or you can just generate it. Okay, generating the information means you have to copy it. So we want to just generate our information. So we're going to hit 3. And as I said, Mac Pro 1 doohickey 1. So there's your information. So what you're going to do is you're going to minimize this, and we're going to start copying, okay? So just copy the first one in, second one in, third one in, you're good to go. I'm not trying to baby anybody. Please try to remember that. I'm not trying to baby anybody. It's just that I've been told in some videos that I don't go explaining things too well, and I'm trying to just over-explain them so you get it. Because having all the information at hand to be able to do this makes life really easy. This is why we're using this tool. Okay? Yeah. If your mouse gets stuck, just remember to wiggle it really hard and it will get unstuck. So there we go. Additional boot arguments. -V. All right? As I said, if you are going straight for Big Sur, the only way to currently do it is by that VMware image that I had in my last video. People don't understand that. It can currently not be installed by the installer for Hackintoshes. It has to be done in VMware and then restored to actual disk. Okay? But we're going to go with Lido Beta All and WEG Beta, just in case you want to do that. That's going to generate the EFI. And we're going to terminate this process, and we're going to go in here and we're going to edit this. Now, editing this requires a certain tool. It's called plist edit pro or something like that. So we're going to go and we're going to grab that just to make sure we don't make any mistakes, okay? We don't want to do that. So plist edit pro. You can grab cracked version. It's up to you. I honestly don't care. We're going to hit allow. We're going to run this thing. And thankfully, it allows us to run it without doing anything that's weird. And we're going to install that extension. And in a few seconds, it's going to let us. And there we go. Everything's installed and ready to go. So close everything down. And we're going to open this up, all right? So this is automatically going to put in the latest patches for AMD. They're all in there. But if you want the Big Sur patches, what you're going to do is you're going to go AMD OS X. All right. GitHub. You're going to go right here. You're going to scroll down. And you're going to go to OpenCore Experimental. Now, this is very important. This is for Big Sur. You're going to want to find what you have. So this is Ryzen 1 and Zen Plus. This is Ryzen 2. These are the patches that you need to download. So just click here. And then you're going to go and click Raw. Now, you can instantly just copy this if you want, but I'm going to show you another way. Save page as, and patches.plist. Use both, why not? Even though it's not a web archive or anything like that. Make sure you keep this open. And I'm going to open with, first we're going to rename the darn thing. Because this is ridiculous. This is not a web archive, and Safari should know what a plist is. So we're going to save this, and we're going to use plist. There we go. You want to open with plist editor pro. And, of course, it fucked everything up. Wow. Okay. So we're just going to trash this. This is why I don't like using Safari, people. It could definitely be garbage. So we want this once again. Let's try this one. Save as. Not a web archive. No. All right. Just copy everything. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. You ready? Click here. Go to File. Hit New. And go here. And just hit Control-V. Or not Control-V. The Apple button. So the Windows button and V. And synced outline. Done. Problem solved. So you want to replace these patches. It's pretty simple and easy to do. Go here. And you just drag and drop. Okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to just drag and drop it. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to delete this one. If you do not want to use Big Sur, do not delete that. You can just continue on and it will be fine. So there you go. The patches are input. You're good. Oops. I messed that up. No. We need undo. So Control Z. Undo drag. Undo drag. Undo. There we go. Why not? Leave the patches there. It doesn't matter. It works. All right, so go to Platform ID and turn this off. Just hit no to automatic. You already have all your information filled in, right, except for your ROM. You're good to go. You can fill in your ROM with whatever you want. It's up to you. And honestly, everything else in this is honestly correct. If you're having any issues with SSDT or USB, go check out the Dortania guide on this to finish this off. I don't deal with SSDTs because my USB now works out of the box. And avoid AMD Ryzen Power Management Kext and SMC AMD Kext. There's a reason for that. It will cause issues with your USB devices. Found that out. Really annoying. So if you don't want your audio to cut in and out and have stutters here and there, don't use it. So I'm going to hit save. And we are going to go grab an EFI mounter. And the one that I suggest is called EFI Agent. So just type EFI Agent. All right, it's by head case. And you're going to go down here. Got one release right now. It's a really, really good application. Open it up. And of course, it's not verified, so what do we have to do? We have to go open it ourselves, just like this. We're almost near done. We are almost near done. So when you click this, it's going to show the devices that are here. And we want to mount our USB for install, all right? And don't allow that. And there it is. See this? This is our EFI. As soon as it allows us to go into the darn thing, it's probably trying to read right now. It does get stuck a lot in this, so we're going to exit that. We're going to exit that. And I think I'm also going to try to open it from here. We're stuck. It's just going to wait a bit. We're stuck. I hate when this happens. But pretty much you drag that EFI folder into that drive, and then you're done. So, whoa, look. Ooh. Ah. What? Why was it disconnected? What just happened? What? No, hey, that's not cool. Again, you drag the EFI folder onto the EFI partition. Then you can boot from it. You can install. Once you're installed, you boot from that USB again. You select the whatever you named your Macintosh drive, and you're pretty much good to go. I already showed you how to install macOS using this VM, and you're pretty much set up. You're done, and everything should just work. You remember, I already told you, if you need help with your audio, come to the one and only Hackintosh Discord that I have linked below. The other one started pruning people, and I'm not cool with that. I don't find that pruning people is okay. People do have lives, and they do come in and out of lives every now and again. And I don't find that fair to others to prune people from Discord. So there's my stance on that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this one's been quite long, but it's long for a reason. You guys wanted a full guide on how to get a Ryzen USB installer ready to go. And now you got one. The rest is up to you. You've already seen me do this once before at the beginning with this, so you should know how to do it. You know, go into disk utility. You select the drive that you want to format and install macOS on. You name that drive. Then in the installer, you select that drive and bada bing. I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.